guys. Good to see everybody. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's good to be up here at camp. I think we've had some really good work here at camp. I think the competition's been really good. That's a credit again to our personnel department for all the work that they put in throughout the season. Not only evaluating the talent piece, but also the character and the makeup, which is a long process throughout the season. And then once we get them inside the building, I think we have the best coaching staff in the National Football League, just in terms of teaching and developing these guys to really maximize their abilities out here in the field. So we get another preseason game here this week to evaluate them. Excited about that, and yeah, open up the questions.
Talking about the makeup of the roster, this feels like to me, the least amount of turnover that we've seen maybe during camp. It's come in a long, long time.
Yeah.
What does that speak to as far as just how this roster's been built, the depth of experience?
Yeah, I think obviously the last few years, I think we've done a good job in the draft, adding talent, and these guys playing right away, going into their second, third season now. And so that, when you draft well, you don't have to bring in so many guys from the outside. So, I think that's, once again, really a credit to the staff, the college staff throughout the season of just, putting together good drafts.
Like last year, you guys were able to orchestrate a trade for Smith Marset. A
Yeah.
lot of receivers this year. Not to say it's going to happen again, but what's the process of trying to find a partner? Because you do have a player like that you might want to.
Yeah, so our pro department now is watching all 31 other teams and making phone calls and seeing what their needs are, what their surplus is, and that's kind of how that works, Pete. Is that you try to find a match, and sometimes it's towards the end of the season if we have a surplus somewhere, and we made the trade with Carolina last year, doing that.
Is there a guy from this year's draft class that's maybe kind of surprised you in one way or another out here so far?
I've been impressed with, just some of the guys being thrown right in there. Kingsley especially, playing left tackle as a rookie in the NFL is not an easy job. And, he's going to go through his ups and downs. But just as far as, he's coachable, the consistency with them. All the rookies really. Jaden's kind of made an impact early on. You saw that in the game, and you saw it out here in practice. And that's kind of carried over to what we saw at Washington State. I think you're hopeful that what you see on film is what comes out here in practices, and so far, those two guys are standing out to me.
Mike, can you elaborate just the wide receiver room, maybe potentially a Hollywood's injury, high defensive decisions that you had over the past few weeks?
Yeah, so we have some veteran guys here that have played. Obviously, we threw in Jay Watt, right after in practice here to kind of replace him. So it's really, you're putting together a puzzle at the end of the cut-down day, and where you might be heavy at certain positions, where you might be light. So you take into all that into account, where you have injuries, maybe at that position. So we're a couple of weeks away from doing that, but that certainly factors into it.
Humphrey, Trey Smith, Nick Bolton, is there any urgency to get those deals done before the season?
Yeah, we'd love to retain all our players. It's a work in progress, and I think Brett and Chris Shea, who handles that, have been diving into that and trying to get something done with these guys. So, when we draft guys, we'd love to retain them, but it's tough now in the National Football League with the salary cap and everything. But we'd love to bring all those guys back.
Obviously, you liked Chris Jones when you drafted him back in 2016, but has there been any surprises in his career? Did you see his career going the way it has, or have there been any surprises in that regard?
Well, I think when you saw Chris in college, you saw a physical freak. If he could put it all together, and I think Chris has really, improved over the years. He's become a leader in that room. And then, no one's bigger than Chris Jones in big moments of games and making plays. And you saw that through the playoffs last year, just affecting the quarterback, not necessarily sacks, but just the way he's grown over his career.
I feel like he's put it together, to use your words, put it together.
I think he has.
Maybe more consistently, better than you.
Yeah, I think every year he's grown and become more consistent, whether that's playing the run or just, making big plays, down the stretch in critical moments. And, he's certainly one of the guys over the past few years that has done that for us.
Let's do three more.
Talked about the cut down coming up in a couple of weeks instead of the incremental. You got the one big one. Does that make it easier or harder?
I think it's easier for us because we get another week to evaluate some of these guys. So for us, it really doesn't matter. It's almost better that we can take a longer look at some of these guys, whether it's practice or that last preseason game.
Wrap up with
Yeah, obviously, we're ending the season a lot later, and this has happened to us a few times now. So you're a little behind on maybe the draft meetings and picking up on that aspect of it in the off season, but we've been through it now a few times, so we've got a system down where we feel comfortable now.
You had the opportunity to interview with Washington in the offseason. So what was your takeaway from that?
It was the first time I'd interviewed for a GM job, so it was a great learning experience for me. Getting to sit down with the owner, Josh Harris, and his committee. It was a very diverse committee. They had Bob Myers, who was the GM of the Warriors, on that committee. So really just having conversations with them about their philosophies on leadership and organizational philosophies and processes, especially coming from a different sport too. So it was a great learning experience for me.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.